Just today in Israel, a law was passed by the Knesset, the Israeli parliament, allowing or giving it the powers to shut down foreign media organisations. This has widely been reported that it's targeted at Al Jazeera. Can you tell us some of the problems with Al Jazeera and how it's been operating?
This is one of the best decisions that Israel made. You know, we're living in a time where, you know, and even in the Arab world, Al Jazeera is not necessarily known as a news network, but as a news creation. They create the news, and there's two perfect examples of that, one recently and one at the beginning of the war. It was largely reported that Israel struck a hospital with rocket fire early on in the war. That was proven to be false. It was proven to be from an Islamic Jihad rocket, and the numbers and figures that were given by mainstream media of 500 people being killed was all false. Now,
It was only 50.
50 people in a car park, and then the hospital was still standing. Most recently, Al Jazeera made claims that the IDF were raping women in Al Shifa Hospital. This also turned out to be a lie. Al Jazeera still published the story and then quietly took it down. And they are causing so many problems because people will see the original news article and they'll believe, because it's from a source like Al Jazeera, that it's got to be true. And then they'll start supporting this idea that the IDF is raping women within the Al Shifa Hospital. Now, again, we go back to October 7th, and the UN has admitted that there is ample evidence from body cam footage that it was actually Hamas that was raping women.
Yeah, of course.
And so again, like I said before, whatever the Palestinian narrative is actually presenting is exactly what they want to do or they've done, and now they're trying to shape it on Israel. Al Jazeera is a toxic problem. They're the mouthpiece of Hamas. Where are the Hamas leadership? They're in Qatar. Where does Al Jazeera's base come from? It comes from Qatar. So I think it's the best decision Israel made. And the fact that Israel had to vote on this law also proves one thing: they're a democracy. They're not run by a dictator or a radical ideology like Hamas in Gaza. And the other question I would pose to the Australian public is, tell me where the integrity of media is coming from in Gaza. Tell me if there's free media in Gaza speaking about what's going on.
Hamas would never allow it. Of course
Absolutely not.
Of course not. Just before you go, Nate, can you talk a bit about the personal consequences that you speaking up, just like you are tonight, has had on you in terms of your security, but also your career in the US?
Yeah, look, this is a politically divisive topic. And for whatever reason, the trendy position to sit in right now in our current history is to support a Palestinian movement, which is ultimately supporting a terrorist organisation called Hamas.
Because it's the current government in Gaza.
Because it's the current government in Gaza. They are calling all the shots. And even if you look at and you take Hamas out of the picture, then you've got Hezbollah and you've got the Islamic regime. And for whatever reason, people are supporting this movement because they are experts at creating and manipulating the truth. They can say whatever they want. It doesn't matter if it's true. And for whatever reason, people are getting behind that. So I've become a politically divisive figure purely because I'm standing in a very, very narrow road supporting a nation of people who...
Has it had career consequences
Look,
for
I'm
you?
sure it will. You know, if you're a movie producer, if you're working on a TV series and you've dedicated the last 5 years of your life to getting a show up and running, you don't want to risk hiring an actor that may become a political situation where you may have to justify why you've hired this person. I mean, we can look at the new James Bond. It's a Jewish actor, and now there's a call for backlash against this movie franchise. So, you know, this is one of the strategies of the Palestinian movement, is to either create fear or scarcity or put you into a corner where you're going to lose something. This is what they're experts at. This is what they do. This is why they've been so successful. You know, if you stand up and you speak for Israel, you are going to face the consequences, the full consequences of a movement that doesn't have truth on its side. And when you don't have the truth on your side, you have to use other tactics to push your agenda, which is violence, fear, intimidation, everything we're seeing in these marches and these protests.
And it's incredible, despite all the hate that I know you get, that you still have the courage to speak publicly, to live in Israel, to post on your social media, to report what's happening, to go to the sites of the massacre. You know, nothing is making you back down. You have the strength, internal fortitude. Yeah,
this is the Christian mentality. You know, Jesus has very, very strong words to those who truly want to follow him. And he says, if you were like the world would love you. But he says, because you're not of the world, they're going to hate you because they hated me first. you know, the Christian road is the narrow path. It's the road that people don't want to walk because there are consequences to it. But you walk that road because you believe in what it is, and you believe in the idea that love is more powerful. And my love for the nation of Israel is far more important to me than my fear of what Palestinians could or might want to do to me.
Well, Nate, we so appreciate having you speak out. It's been such a breath of fresh air to have someone so strong with such a big following who's not Jewish fight this anti-Semitism. And thank you so much for coming in here tonight and for doing this interview. Really appreciate your time and your courage.
You're welcome. Thank you.